Hey, what's up guys, Frosty here back again with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to 29 stupid ways to die in Among Us. I personally played the game. I definitely have died a couple of stupid times. Let's see if we can actually relate to this, and without further ado, let's get into the video.
Death lies around every corner in this game, but not every death is created equal. So these are the ones that are so bad they add insult to injury. And hey, the YouTube Grim Reaper warned me that it's impossible to subscribe to the channel before I finish all my tasks. So, if you want to prove them wrong, eliminate that red sub button down below. It's free, and it helps out a ton. Number 1. One of the high IQ plays as a crewmate is pulling a, if it's not them, vote me. And don't get me wrong, when it works, it's great. But sometimes your accusation just isn't placed on the right person. So when you manage to mess this up and get not only yourself thrown out, but also another innocent crewmate, you're really making it too easy for the imposter. And folks, that's why we have the phrase risk reward. It's not always going to work out. Number 2. Grouping up with other players is definitely the meta of being a crewmate, which is why it's all the more painful when you're left alone at the beginning of the game. As soon as you're taking a loner stroll around the map, you're pretty much set up to die. Whether that's for looking suspicious to the other crewmates, or just getting killed off by an imposter. Really, even if you need the alone time, setting yourself up like this is just making you an easy target. Number 3. When visual tasks are enabled, that's what we call a dead giveaway for the imposter. And any crewmate with half a brain knows how to look out for them. So when you're the silent killer and you find yourself doing one of these, you know you're setting yourself up for failure. And really, when you're an imposter waiting in line to do a med-based scan, you really gotta rethink your choices. Especially since you could have prevented it by looking out for this key setting at the beginning of the game. Number 4. When you're trying to join a group and you don't have a plan, it's pretty hard to do. And worst yet, it makes you look pretty suspicious to the other players. So for those times where you're chasing your friend as a crewmate, you can pretty much expect to die off. You can't just schedule a group thing out of nowhere, and being impromptu is definitely going to get you voted off the ship. So unless you were invited, don't try to be late to the party. It's not going to work out. Number 5. The emergency meetings in Among Us feel like you're presenting a court case. And one of the key things in a criminal trial is, of course, having evidence. Which makes it even more frustrating that when you accuse the imposter with concrete details, it can make some other people think that you're just sus. Which is amazing how all that time you spend building up your case can all of a sudden be washed away by just one person typing that they think it's you instead. Number 6. I'm sure in the past few months you've heard plenty of people telling you how important voting is. But the people who really need that message are the ones who don't vote in Among Us lobbies. Honestly, those times where not enough people cast in a ballot and then you're able to get voted off 1 or 2 votes are some of the most infuriating in the game. And now I know what it's like to be disappointed in voter turnout. Number 7. Plenty of crewmates know that if you don't get someone to speak during a meeting, you might be giving an imposter a free chance.
Yeah, pretty
this
much.
can cut against you if you're not a chatty Cathy. You see, sometimes just not having a lot to say can get you voted off the ship. Which obviously isn't based in fact, maybe you're just quiet. And that's why I always try to come up with at least 1 or 2 things that I did the last round so that they don't pick me out as the silent someone.
Very social person.
Number 8. While there might be
game.
some people who think that you're suspicious if you don't talk enough, there's also some who think you're the killer if you say too much. This can get extremely obvious if you're the pro player that's making some key accusations. Far too often, people will just think you're deflecting and vote you out immediately. This is what makes emergency meetings such a stressful balancing act. You can't talk too little, you can't talk too much. What am I supposed to do? Number 9. When you get assigned a crewmate, tasks are the name of the game. I mean, clearly, there's a bar at the top and everything. Although, when someone goes off to pursue their life passion and not do their chores, you're just setting up a killer for the win. And believe me, nothing will get a hardworking player more amped up than getting killed by the imposter when someone didn't do all their tasks. Now everyone's got to rest in pieces as the game is lost. Number 10.
Press like if you ever encountered someone like that if you watched this video.
Some tasks are a bit more annoying to get right than others, which is fine if you have the time to correct your mistakes, but if you're there for too long, you might just be leaving yourself open to get killed by someone. And nothing makes reactor start more painful than getting stabbed in the back after you fail it. At that point, you're just kicking me when I'm down, and worse yet, I still gotta do the task after I die. This is a real pain and then some. Number 11. Stacking all the Among Us players in one area gives such a freebie to the imposter, which makes it even more unfortunate when you find yourself in that situation and you're just lucky enough to get killed. And worst yet, now you gotta watch the imposter get away with your murder because no one could tell who did that in that stack. Given a free point over the imposter and you, -1 for justice. Number 12. Look, I get it, watching cams is exciting, but nothing turns that watch party into a bummer more than getting stabbed in the back while you're standing there.
Yeah.
And really, this death gets especially stupid if you don't see the person walk into the room to kill you. If they vented, that's one thing, but if they walked in, you only got yourself to blame. The real dumb way to die there was your own hubris. Number 13. Dying in Among Us is one thing, but being disappointed in your other teammates, that's a whole other loss. Which makes it all the more painful when you die to something like a reactor meltdown or oxygen loss. And frankly, I've had it happen one too many times where I've decided not to go over to fix it, assumed someone else would, and had to pay the price later. Number 14. As the imposter, your whole entire job is trying to find the perfect opportunity to get a kill. Which makes it all the worse when you think you found that opportunity, get the kill, and then someone walks in right on cue to see you do it. I mean, nothing else can take you from a master deceptor right down to a deer in the headlights faster than that. Maybe next time you'll be extra careful in who's in the adjacent rooms. Number 15. Part of the fun in Among Us is being prepared when you go into a meeting and building up a case as to who you think is the killer. So when someone just makes a blind accusation, calls you sus, and gets you voted off, that's gonna put you down in the dumps. Look, there's a reason why we call this throwing the game. It doesn't help your numbers, and if you're the innocent that gets voted out, all it proves to you is that the real imposter was the friends we made along the way. Number 16. This one was bad enough to get me to stop playing in public lobbies, because nothing quite ruins the high of finally getting an imposter like getting voted out because someone was in a Discord call with the one you killed. Really, you could just say this death is dumb because it sucks to die to cheaters.
Yeah,
and that's what it
really
is.
does.
It's cheating. And nothing makes me want to stop playing a game more than when I see this pop up on my screen. Number 17. People in Among Us have some funny perceptions about different colors. And sometimes getting voted out of the ship is just because of the shade you picked at the beginning. Anyone who knows me knows that red's my favorite, so when I finally get my color of choice only to get voted out because red's sus, I don't know what to do with that. That's why from now on, if anyone ever calls me red, I'm just gonna say I'm crimson. I'm sure that'll work. Number 18. People who camp out at cameras rarely ever get to see much action. So that means they're quick to jump to conclusions on what they do see. Which really does not work out to your advantage when you're an innocent standing right next to a dead body on camera just before you reported it. At that point, they're sure to call you out for doing some kind of self-report. Which, if you didn't hate the cameras before, then this moment right here is sure to put them on your naughty list. Number 19. If you as a crewmate finally see an imposter in the act, that's dangerous information to carry around. So, knowing what's best to do, you start to make a beeline over to the emergency button. And right as you're about to push that big red button and get them off the ship, just like that, they stab you in the back and you're not able to divulge the information. This is like running to the light at the end of the tunnel, only to find out it's the pearly gates waiting to greet you up to heaven. Number 20. Finding a dead body as a crewmate definitely feels like finding your time to shine. Though that moment's sure to get deflated if you manage to get killed after reporting the corpse. Obviously, because of the insane timing this requires, this isn't a very common one, but nothing makes that emergency meeting more pointless than when the person who has the information got caught a few seconds before. Number 21. Two imposter lobbies require a lot of trust. So if you find yourself in that pair of killers, you probably want to stick your neck out for the other person. But that good faith act can turn sour when they admit that they're bad right as you vouch for them. At that point, it becomes immediately apparent you're the teammate, and now you've just gotten both of yourselves thrown out. Proving once again that there's no I in team, but there definitely is in give up. Number 22. Not voting and skipping on 4 should be a logical given at this point. So, you already know you're in for a rough ride when your teammates don't listen and watch someone else get voted out. At that point, the imposter can sabotage to stop an emergency meeting and just like that, kill in front of your very eyes. And now you also gotta deal with the fact that your teammates are idiots, and honestly, I don't know which one's worse. Number 23. Venting can be an extremely risky move as the imposter. But knowing that, you decided to only vent into a room with one person so you can easily kill them off. Only to find out a second too late that it wasn't really a safe space, but more so an intimate get-together. I'm reminded of the old piece of advice that 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. And since your kill's got a cooldown, your chances of that happening are slim to none. Number 24. The imposter's sole goal is to not be seen. That's why it's such a headache when you vent or kill someone thinking you got it just right, only to have one person pop out of the hiding spot and throw that all to the gutter. And just like that, what should have been your greatest triumph turned into nothing more than your greatest downfall. Which means you should have practiced a bit more hide and seek as a child. Number 25. When you're playing as the imposter and get put in the hot seat, the pressure's on. So most of the time, if you're getting targeted, it means you gotta deflect to someone else. But what's the worst is when you make that split-second decision, and all of a sudden the crewmate you chose can not only be vouched for, but there's evidence to prove such. Just like that, they prove their innocence, and more importantly, they prove you're guilty. Number 26. Walking into a room should be one of the most peaceful activities in the game. But the mood of that can immediately shift as soon as you see the two imposters pop out at once. Just like that, you're pretty much insured of death. But what's worse of it is that they're able to vouch for the other, meaning that you're probably not going to get your murder solved. And all of a sudden, you turn a mundane decision into their game-winning advantage. Number 27. Bystanders are the real enemy of the imposter. So, it's a real victory when you manage to kill one off before they say too much. That is until your luck kicks in, and all of a sudden you're fortunate enough to be seen by yet another bystander. And at this point, you already blew your one kill, and now the rest is on cooldown, meaning you pretty much only have one task left, and that's to accept your fate. Number 28. Sometimes you're just having an off day, and whatever task you do, it just does not work out right. But the real kicker here is when you get voted out because it looked like you were faking the task since you were so bad at it. To the other crewmates, it must obviously look like you were putting up a front, but unfortunately for you, it's just proof that a bad day can in fact get actually worse. Number 29. This one might not be so relatable, but I've gotta say that the times that I've gone into an emergency meeting, people say to vote to skip, and instead of skipping the vote, I get voted out of the ship.
What?
Oh, ruins my day completely. And I'll tell you, nothing's made me consider a name change more than this miscommunication. My favorite color's red, my name's Skip, I'm practically asking to get kicked out of the ship. And with that, folks, report that sub button below, and have a good one, alright?
I thoroughly enjoyed that video. If you guys did, make sure to like and maybe, click the red button as this one. I mean, YouTube might come after me too if they see that red button still clicked on your computer. But without further ado, I hope you guys really did enjoy the video. And with that, see you in the next video.